Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to Unit Lost. I am Stylosa, and let's talk about the best way to rank up in competitive Season 2. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can do this. Now, to begin with, what I'm going to speak about is the idea of playing in a group, because playing solo queue is possibly the most random way to try and level up. You can totally do it, and I've had a lot of success doing it, to be fair, but it depends on the other guys in your team. You don't know who you're going to get. You might get 3 Genji mains that queue in with you, and the problem with that is they're all going to want to play DPS, and having 3 DPS characters or maybe even 4 DPS characters with other people that are not willing to be flexible can be a problem. I've seen issues like this in competitive, especially in solo queue, where there was a guy who wanted to play I believe it was a Tracer, but there was already a Tracer locked in, and the Tracer wasn't responding to this guy asking to, you know, hello, can I play Tracer? So instead he played Symmetra and then ran around as Symmetra on both attack and defense, which was like annoying. We won the defense, well, we actually lost the game. It was fairly close, but that's not a great pick. And those type of picks, you're going to see more of them in solo queue. Now, that's going to be annoying, especially for me, because I don't like to feel like I'm wasting my time when I play Overwatch, and it especially pisses me right off when people do trollish behavior like that. If you do come across that, though, try and work around it. Try and think, okay, we can still do something. Just try and work with that player. It doesn't matter if they're being stubborn. You just sort of have to go through it. So, like, DuoQ, is that a good way to play the game? Now, if I look at the games that I've played so far, I've played around about 300 games in Season 2. Most of them have been played in triple queue. I've played maybe 20 games in solo queue, which, as I said, have been like a mixed bag. There's been some great games, and there's been some really, really bad games. In fact, the worst games I've had have definitely been through solo queue. DuoQ is kind of okay because you can sort of take a friend along, and you know that friend's going to play a certain type of class. You know, maybe they're a DPS character, so you can rely on them for certain things. Like, if I'm going to play Zarya and I've got a Tracer with me, I know that when I drop my Graviton in, the Tracer's probably going to turn up and drop her Pulse Bomb in because we're used to playing with each other, and they're going to get, you know, it's an easy wombo combo, and we can break chokes open with that. So that is powerful. Again, the problem is, though, you've got 4 other guys on your team who necessarily don't know what you're going to do, or they should do when you get to a certain level, but maybe they want to play Zarya, maybe they want to play Tracer, or maybe they want to play the heroes that you want to play, and that's going to cause some problems. Now, in that case, I would always, if I lock in a Zarya and somebody says to me, can I play Zarya, I will give them Zarya, because I think, okay, they obviously can't do anything else, they're asking for it, so I'll give them Zarya. It doesn't matter if I think I'm a better player or whatever. Overwatch is a team game, they can have that hero, and then I'll drop into one of the other heroes which I play. Now, in competitive at the moment, Zarya would be my main, then I would go for Reinhardt, then I'd go for Anna, then I'd go for Lucio. And that makes me very flexible. That means I can cover a lot of slots. It means I don't necessarily cover DPS, and that's something I need to work on. But it means I can cover supports and tanks, which most of the games... In fact, I've never really seen a game where I've been forced to play something I didn't really want to play. As I said, I have dropped off heroes when I've selected them, because in my eyes, that makes the team, you got more of a chance of winning. Now, this is the interesting one. This is triple queue. I've played most of my games in triple queue, and I've got a 50-50 win rate as in a triple queue. Now, why do I think that is? Well, again, it comes down to kind of luck, right? You need 3 other guys in your team to sort of work together and pick heroes that complement the heroes that you're going to take in the triple queue. The thing with the triple stack, it gives you a couple of options. You can do things like this. You can take a Reinhardt and a Zarya, so you've got both tanks, which means you can dictate when fights happen. You can take a Reinhardt, a Zarya, and an Anna, so you've got the core of the team there, so you can, again, dictate when fights happen and be very defensive when you need to, and hopefully work together very strong. Or you can take a tank, a support, and a DPS. Maybe if the tank, you take Zarya, and the DPS is like a Hanzo. Again, you've got the very simple wombo combo of the Graviton and the Dragon Strike. So you can do all of that kind of stuff when you're in a triple queue. Problem is, it depends on what the enemy triple queue are doing, because you'll probably be put together with like a triple queue, to even it out, and then 3 random guys. Sometimes, though, and this happens quite a lot, you'll get put against 4-man stacks or even 5-man stacks, which that's not exactly balanced too much, because those guys, they've got more of the team that are playing together. So in theory, they should have better teamwork. So in theory, they should have more of a chance of winning. Now, what I want to say about this is, don't think, oh my god, they've got a 4-man stack, we've only got a 3-man stack, we've lost, because that's not the case at all. You can still totally beat them. It's totally doable. So let's talk about a 4-man stack then. I've played quite a few games in a 4-man. Now this is, I don't know if I like the 4-man. I think I prefer the 3-man more than the 4-man. Problem with a 4-man stack is, if you come up against a 4-man stack which gets its way, so they get to play the heroes they want to play, the core DPS, the core tanks, the core, support heroes. If that's your, like right now we're very much in the Ana meta, so if they've got an Ana and a Reinhardt that work together extremely well, and then a Zarya and a Tracer who are doing the same thing with their ultimates, you will get wrecked, because if you can't compete with that, you're going to have a problem. Now, the reason why you can't compete with that is maybe the Ana on your team is not in your 4-man stack, so they're not used to playing with you. They don't necessarily know what you're going to do. Sometimes, though, they will. It's not difficult. I don't want to say it's hard, and then you need to be in voice comms, and you need to be playing with the same players all the time to know when to nano boost, because you don't, or know when to use your graviton surge, because you don't. Or like if the Zarya grabs and you're playing Tracer, you should know, oh, graviton's gone in, I'm going to jump in and chuck my pulse bomb in, because I'm probably going to get a load of kills, and we're going to wreck the enemy team and stop that push. So it's simple stuff, but it's just going to happen more often with players that you play with. Now let's talk about I guess we can talk about the 5-man stack, although I don't have much experience with this. I'd say avoid this, to be honest, because you've got 5 players playing together, and then, dare I say it, a dead weight. You've got somebody who you don't really know what they want to do, and if they want to take up a role like the Reinhardt, or like an Ana, or a very crucial role in the team, and they're not capable of doing it, it's going to be problematic. So I'd shy away from 5-man. Now let's talk about 6-man. This could be the best way to rank up, but it is also simultaneously the worst way. If you just get 6 of your friends together and you have not played together a lot, but maybe you're, like, let's say you're all 3,000 rating, you all get together and you're like, okay, we're going to play, and you're going to start playing. Well, you might win your first game, you might even win your second game, or you might lose these games, and you might lose them horribly, because you're going to get put against other 6-man teams. Sometimes the matchmaker will put you against a 5 and a 1, or a 4 and a 2, but most of the time it will put you against another 6-man team. What you need to do if you're going to play in a 6-man team is train outside of competitive. You need to know exactly what you're going to do on every single map. On Numbani on defense, what are you doing? You should just know, because you've trained. If you don't, expect to come up against teams that know what to do. Expect to come up against teams that can execute plans extremely well, and it's much more difficult. Look at it this way. You're still going to get the same amount of skill rating playing in solo queue as you are in a 6-man stack. In solo queue, it's going to be much more hectic, much more based on your individual player skill, whereas in 6-man, you have to execute team strategies all of the time. If you don't, you will get beat, and you will get beat hard, and you will still win or lose arguably the same amount of skill rating, which you're going to be working much more harder for it in the 6-man than you would be in the kind of solo queue, duo queue, or even triple queue. Now, another thing I want to talk about on this topic of how to rank up is what heroes to play, because there are certain heroes who will, without a doubt, carry a team, especially at lower levels. So if you're playing from like the 2,000 to 3,000 rating, there are a couple of heroes who are extremely good and will probably carry you into diamond quite easily if you get quite proficient with them. Proficient with them. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Now these are Genji. Genji's the obvious one, because if you get very good with Genji, you can take out the enemy's supports really quick. And with no supports, they can't do anything. If you kill the Zen and kill the Mercy, what are they going to do? They're going to die. If you kill the Zen, kill the McCree, what are they going to do? They're going to die. Now, this is going to work up until Diamond, because teams are not going to be able to effectively deal with a Genji like that. So that is something to think about. What I would avoid, though, is... Oh, actually, let's stay on the topic of heroes to pick to kind of almost solo carry. Tracer, she's another one. If you get really good with Tracer, you can wreck enemy teams up until a certain point. Right now, I'm like 3.3 rating in Diamond. A good Tracer, will not wreck an enemy team. She will do work on them, but she's not going to win the game on her own. However, if this was 2,800 rating, she would absolutely win the game. Single-handedly win the game. There's no question about this. It's the same as Genji. The other one as well is Zarya. Zarya is extremely powerful right now. If you're a good Zarya player, you can carry, because you'll get things happen where players will attack you, and they will not completely attack you as a team to get rid of you. They will splash damage you. They'll try and, like, I don't know, attack your shields while you're up. So you're running around with a ton of charge, and I mean a ton of charge. I wouldn't be surprised if you had 60% average energy as Zarya, especially in lower diamond games. Hell, I mean, I played a game in diamond today and I had 60% average energy, so maybe she's just a very powerful hero. But you can carry a lot of games with Zarya. You can get clutch shields off onto people. keep them alive. And of course, you've got your Graviton Surge, which is arguably the best ultimate in the game. This thing is the best engagement ultimate. You can drop that and blow enemy teams away, provided the players on your team actually keep up with you and drop the ultimate in. So there's two different ways to look at this. What is the best way to rank up? In fact, there is a third kind of thing which I need to throw in there, and that's not, don't burn out. If you, like what I do now when I play ranked, and I've come away from this crazy mentality of playing 10, 20, 30 games on the trot, because what I do is, I had an extremely good win sequence where I won 11 games on the trot, which is, when I say on the trot, I just mean on the bounce, one after another. Won 11 games, awesome, and then lost 8 games straight after that. Now that's devastating, right? That's pretty bad. And I think I ended up with, maybe 30 skill rating out of all of that, when if I just stopped and came back the next day, I would have still been fresh and I could have probably carried on and then continued to win. So the idea of don't burn yourself out is critical. What I do right now is, my first game of the day, if I lose, okay, that's fine, I'll play another game. But if I lose that game, then I'll come off for a while. If I win, I just keep going until I lose, and then I stop, and then I come back later on, and then I play a few more games. Because what you don't want to do is become negative. It happens to everyone. It's okay for me to sit here and go, oh, don't be negative. It happens to me. It happens to all of us. So sometimes it's good just to take a quick break. So what I've covered in this video is 3 ideas on how to rank up. The first one is, try and get a couple of friends together. You don't need a full team. In fact, I would not play in a full team. Maybe get 2 friends or even a friend together, but try and aim for 2 and try and cover certain roles. Try and cover the tank, try and cover, a DPS, or get used to working with each other. So you're going to do the Graviton Tracer combo, and that's what you're going to do, because being effective with those basic combinations will get you up the ranks pretty quick. The other idea is heroes you can play to sort of carry your way through. People like Tracer, like Genji, like Zarya. Even Roadhog can be pretty good at this. If you're really good at getting picks, you can open up enemy teams extremely well. And then the final thing is, don't burn yourself out. If you feel yourself burning out, or if you're on a very good win streak, maybe just sit back and think, okay, I've played well today, now is the time to come off. Alright guys, I want you to let me know about how you rank up and some ideas that you can kind of give us in the comments below. We're a big community, so we can get together and discuss some of this. I've gave my thoughts on this after playing God knows how many games, and yeah, I think this will work for most people. Alright guys, I've been Stylosa, this is Unit Lost. If you like the video, then like the video, subscribe to the channel, and all of that jazz. You can follow me on Twitter, which is @UnitLostGaming, and I will catch you next time guys. Toodaloo.